Japan is moving from their traditional standpoint. No, they aren't shifting away from their cultural values. That is still very much intact. But they are planning to add more dimension to their sporting culture. While Japan is still focused on baseball, sumo wrestling and Olympic sports, they are getting serious about women's football too. Maybe taking a leaf out of a country that introduced baseball in Japan, America, who are getting serious about cricket and men's football. Basically, sporting disciplines beyond baseball, basketball and American football. And just like how America organized Men's Cricket World Cup to make cricket popular, Japan wants to organize the 2031 Women's World Cup to make the sport popular in the country again. The reason behind that is to ignite the domestic competitions and to boost women's football in Japan, to get it up to the standards of Europe, Northern America and all of America.
We would like to raise the value of women's football here. We have the V-League and it has been struggling to gather an audience. We would like to increase the number of women players here.
That statement from Miyamoto highlights a concerning aspect about Japanese footballing culture itself. Sure, football is still a sport that is followed largely in the country, but women's sport isn't as popular as men's. Which is quite ironic because unlike the men's team, the women's side has been former world champions. They won their only title in 2011 and in the next edition in 2015 they even reached the final. So clearly they were once a giant force in footballing world. Even if you go by the current FIFA rankings, the women's side are higher ranked compared to their male counterparts. While Japan's male side with their competitive display have secured 15th position in the world, the women continue to hold their 7th spot with their consistent quarter-final finishes in most of the FIFA World Cups. But despite this, the women have failed to build a strong fan base in their own country. What's the reason behind this? Football still isn't as popular as other sports like baseball and a few other Olympic sporting disciplines. Fans tend to gravitate towards that, focus on those. The other reason, of course, is the infrastructure. Football requires a certain infrastructure which forces the country to keep organizing football events and tournaments through the year to keep that going. That's something Japan has failed to do.
They have their own culture. They have football in their daily lives. We haven't built that kind of community here in Japan. I'd like to make football our culture in Japan. In Europe, clubs are very strong, but in Japan, clubs are not that strong.
As Miyamoto realizes, the culture plays a huge role in shaping sports in the country. If the fan base isn't backing the athletes, how will the sport really grow? We just recently witnessed North Korea's under-20 side win the Women's World Cup. It was their historic 3rd title, and yet this was the reaction from their fans. Despite North Korea being a giant force in under-20 World Cups, they haven't been somehow able to translate that kind of success onto the senior national sides. While many factors contributed to that, the biggest has been the lack of fan following and lack of international exposure. Now, North Korean government isn't keen on allowing their players to travel and play outside, yes, but that's not the case with Japan. The country wants more. And the way they see that happening is, one, by organizing the Football World Cup in 2031, hosting a World Cup is key to establishing a sporting culture and grooming it. Two, give their side the full backing to perform in front of the home crowd. Fill the stadiums with fans, young school kids, to come and support and cheer the players on. But the desire won't be an easy one to fulfill because reports also suggest America and Mexico want to bid for the 2031 Women's World Cup, pitting these powerhouses against each other in the football arena as well. But Japan is keen on beating America to it in this regard.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.